Once again, we're back here at the International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame induction weekend. My next guest, not a woman fighter, but somebody who covers the boxing, David Avila. David, welcome.
Well, thank you, Jake. Nice to see you again.
It's good to see you. I've noticed David at many of the fights sitting ringside. He is a sports writer, boxing writer, mainly in the West Coast, but he's known all over the world for your fine work at the, I was going to say at the typewriter, but it's not a typewriter anymore. It's all on laptops and all. When you go to the fights and you're sitting there watching them, do you see it differently when you're reporting on it than if you were to go just as a fan?
Oh, yeah, it's completely different because as a boxing writer, I'm analyzing things, looking for trends, trying to describe what's happening, not necessarily taking in what is happening emotionally. And that's, part of the experience as a fan is, taking it in emotionally. But as a writer, I can't really do that.
When you watch the boxing, and now you're starting to see more and more women in boxing, do you look at that differently, or do you still observe it the same way, or does it cross your mind, well, this is women boxing, it's a little different, or what exactly do you think?
No, I see it the same way as with men. The only difference is it's much quicker because it's only 2-minute rounds, but there's no difference. Maybe the only difference is that the guys are a little stronger, but the female fighters they're more engaged. Much quicker, and it's done in the blink of an eye. It's just 2 minutes, and boom, it's over.
So when you're watching the women fight, you don't really see them as women, you just see them as two people boxing, correct?
Right, exactly. They're just athletes, and very good athletes, just as good as the men.
Over the years of seeing women in the ring, what have you noticed that's, I would say, an improvement or going in the right direction with the women's boxing?
Yes, sir. Overall, there's an improvement due to the amateur game, the fact that now the women are included in the Olympics. You could see it happening in the last 10 years. There's overall, a skill-wise, it's jumped up a couple of notches. They're much better than 10 years ago. 10 years ago, there was maybe 10, 15% girls that fought at that level of skill. Now it's more like 60, 70%, and it's going to be 100 pretty soon.
You think it's that much, really?
Yes, yeah, it's pretty much so. It's just that because there's not that much media coverage in terms of television or streaming, they don't get to see the overall talent, and it's vastly improved. Now,
I spoke today with a lot of the women fighters from the past. There's some that are going to be inducted along with you this weekend. And a lot of them started out as kickboxers. A lot of them said that a member of their family was involved in boxing, and that's how they got into it. It's in their blood. Somebody said that there seems to be more passion with the girls when they're out there fighting, like they really have the heart. I don't know if it's that they're trying to prove something or not. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's interesting that you point that out, but that is one thing that you see that differs from the men. They just got a little bit more fire, maybe because it's only 2-minute rounds, or maybe because they don't really get paid. And the ones that do engage in boxing, they're all in it. It's not just a payday because they can't survive on what they get paid, most of them. And so if they're doing it with a passion.
What do you enjoy about women's boxing overall?
To me, it's very unique. There's just something about them individually. Aside from the fights outside, they just have this fierce independence that you just don't see in other athletes. No other sport. I haven't seen it. I've covered them all. The female prize fighter is a little bit more intense, fiercely independent, and they do it because they really, truly love it and not because they're getting paid.
That's a big difference. A paycheck makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Big difference. They're doing it for $1,000 a fight, some of them. And they got to pay their trainer, they got to pay their nutritionist or whatever, the gym. When it comes down to it, they owe money. They probably spend that much driving to the gym.
Well, we want to congratulate you for being in the class of 2019 as an inductee into the Women's International Boxing Hall of Fame. How does that make you feel? What are your thoughts about that?
That's kind of a shock. I don't think I belong here because I'm not really a fighter. I'm just a writer.
Well, no, you're not just a writer. You're good at what you do. It's a craft. Not everybody can sit down and put their thoughts, and like you say, keep the emotions out of it, put down what you see, and be honest with it. I've seen a lot of your work on paper, and you do that. You tell it just like it is, and that's being recognized today. And you should be very honored, and I'm sure you are, that you're here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
David Avila, my guest. Thank you.